Get ready to unleash your inner legal mastermind and embark on an exhilarating legal adventure. Welcome to the Legal Odyssey podcast, where we dive deep into the world of law and bring you face to face with the sharpest legal minds in America. I am thrilled to be your guide on this wild ride as we uncover the hidden secrets of the legal elite. Welcome back to another thrilling episode of the Legal Odyssey. Today, we embark on an extraordinary journey into the heart of foreclosure defense, guided by a passionate attorney whose unwavering dedication and inspiring story have touched countless lives. Before we dive deep into the realm of foreclosure defense, let's rewind the clock and discover what ignited the flames of justice with our esteemed guest, Mr. Peter Cozmyk of Cozmyk Law Offices in Illinois and Ohio. Welcome, Peter. We are so happy to have you here today.
Thank you for having me, Haley. I appreciate it.
To start us off, tell us, why did you decide to become an attorney?
Well, that's an interesting question. I don't think that I originally set out to become an attorney. I was going to be a scientist, and I went to school for physics and got a degree, but then I couldn't really find a job as a physicist in Ohio. And so I said to myself, I need to do something else. And I ended up going to law school, and I discovered that my talents are much better suited for law than they are science, and I've loved being an attorney ever since.
I love how your passion for fighting for justice began through such an interesting story. You weren't going for being an attorney from the very beginning, but found your path along the way. That's fun. What inspired you to dedicate yourself to foreclosure defense specifically?
Well, so when I was younger, I purchased a house, and this house, I know that it had good value because I probably looked at 100 houses. My realtor probably went crazy dealing with me, and I got a really good value. It was a house in Parma, Ohio, and I outgrew this home because of my family size. And when I went to try to sell the property, right before that happened, the bubble burst. And with all of the bank issues that were going on with all these mortgages and mortgage-backed assets, the market collapsed. I couldn't even get $100,000 for my home. And so it ended up going through foreclosure. And so I've been on the other side. I know what it's like to have your home foreclosed on. I also have experienced a couple family members who went through it. And so, I'm not just an attorney who happens to know about real estate. I've actually been the client. I've been on the other side. I hired a foreclosure defense attorney during this time period. And so I know exactly what it's like to be on the other side.
I love the experiences that you went through that really led you, first of all, to becoming an attorney, but then specifically to focus on foreclosure defense. Like you said, it can be an extremely difficult situation, and to know exactly how it feels to be in that position specifically is admirable. It makes a big impact. Let's talk a little bit about your firm, Cozmyk Law Offices. What does your firm stand for?
All right, well, Cozmyk Law Offices is a consumer law firm that focuses primarily on foreclosure defense. And we try very hard to help people, not only through their experience, but to help them not be afraid, to help them understand that they have options. People come to us from all sorts of walks in goals. Some people don't want to keep the home. They want us to help them get out with the least amount of damage. Some of the people want to keep their home at all costs. Some people, can't really keep their home, or so they think, but we end up finding ways for them to get to keep it anyway. And some people want to do a bankruptcy. There's so many different ways. There are ways to keep the home. There are ways to not keep the home. There are ways to assist in getting time to sell a home. There's so many different options. And we always talk to the client. Every new client I talk to, or one of my attorneys talk to, and go over all their options, what they can do. One thing that a lot of people do is they just bury their head in the sand. They get served with foreclosure notice, they start packing up their bags like, I'm out. But they don't have to do that. We've even had cases where people were just going to let it go, but we were able to get them cash, in the cash for keys program. So there are things out there that people may not even know about that can help them, and that's where we come in. You know, I'm a Christian, and I care about people greatly. I guess I'm a kind of a bleeding heart. I don't know if that's good or bad. But I feel their pain when they talk to me. Sometimes they're sad, sometimes they're upset. And I feel it, and I want to help these people. And so it's important to me, you know, that Cozmyk Law Offices has integrity, that they care about other people. When I hire someone, I try to find out, do they seem like someone who's going to care, or just someone who's here for a paycheck? And I think that everyone that works for me genuinely cares about our clients' well-being, and that makes me really proud.
I love the compassion. I think that's so important because I think it's a common misconception, but an unfortunate common misconception that, or could be common too. I guess I don't know myself. But to run into an attorney that might not be compassionate, that might not understand your situation, the stress you're going through, the amount of emotion that is involved in your situation at the time. So I love that Cozmyk Law Offices incorporates that care and compassion with each individual client to hear what their current situation is, what their current stress points are, and then come up with a solution that works specifically for them.
Yeah, I tried to think, what if this was my mom going through this? What would I do? Would you just ask your mom, some robotic message, or do something like that? Or would you really truly listen and try to help her? And that's what we try to do. I'm not perfect. It's a business. We're obviously trying to make money and make a living, but you know, it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. You can care about somebody and still run a business, and that's what I strive to do.
I love the passion behind Cosmic Law Offices. And you mentioned that there can be a lot of misconceptions that people have when they receive a foreclosure letter, that maybe they decide they don't want to fight it at all. Can we just talk through a couple of the common misconceptions people might have that make them think that they're really just stuck with the foreclosure?
Yes, absolutely. So if you fall behind on your mortgage, you're going to get a notice of default from a lender saying you have 30 days to pay this off, or else we're going to demand the whole entire debt be paid, and we're going to file a foreclosure action. Well, what if you don't have that money? So, there are life circumstances that cause people to fall behind, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they can't recover. And so there are many options to save your home, and it doesn't require you to pack up your bags and leave in most cases. Many lenders will offer what's called a loan modification, where you apply to the lender for, it's almost like a refinance, where they're going to take the money that you owe and spread it over a new loan term, cure the default, and let you start making your payments again. That can save somebody's home. It's the most common thing that lenders offer. You can do a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Some people think that if you file a bankruptcy, you're going to lose all your stuff. That's not how bankruptcy works. In a Chapter 13 specifically, you get to keep your home. You're also going to get to keep at least a car. There are a lot of personal belongings you get to keep. So even a bankruptcy doesn't mean you're going to lose everything. Um, there are, as I said before, non-retention options. If you don't want to keep the property, you could walk away, but then the bank can come after you for the money that you still owe if the house doesn't sell for enough. But you can do things to get that wiped out in many cases. And so whether it comes to keeping the home or not keeping the home, doing nothing is about the worst thing that you can possibly do. And it's worth at least calling an attorney to talk to them, because the phone call is free. The consultation is free. We're going to let you know if we can help you or not. And so why not make that phone call?
Exactly, and empower yourself with more knowledge from the experts that really know the ins and outs of this entire situation. So you mentioned loan modifications as one of the solutions that someone can use to help them when facing a financial difficulty like foreclosure or like falling behind on their mortgage payments. When someone is going to choose to a loan modification, why is it best to choose to do that with an attorney on your side?
Okay, so there are many companies that make a lot of promises. There are companies called we call them foreclosure rescue companies, and they will say things like, "We will get you a loan modification." First of all, there is no law that requires a lender to give you a loan modification. It's a process which a person could handle on their own, but it's really complex. What we do at Cozmyk Law is much more advanced than just simply paper shuffling, which is what a foreclosure rescue company is going to do. There are laws that can protect there are laws that can protect the borrower. For example, the Real Estate Settlement and Procedures Act, it's called RESPA. It requires a lender to follow specific procedures when working on someone's loan modification application. You don't know how many times I've heard clients say, "We submitted a mod and we never got a response." Well, that's not going to happen if you go through me, because we're going to keep a paper trail. We're going to file notices of error, which can accumulate to the point where we can sue them in federal court on your behalf. And we're going to make sure that they follow that law. In addition, at some point in time during the foreclosure process, even if they say they're working with you, they're probably going to file a foreclosure action. It's called dual tracking. You can look it up on Google. It happens all the time, where they're on one hand saying, "We want to work with you. We're going to help you. Just do this. Don't worry about the lawsuit." But on the other hand, they're filing that lawsuit. An attorney is going to court trying to take your home in court. Well, we're going to step in and we're going to defend that legal action on your behalf. We're going to file an answer. We're going to do discovery, whatever it takes to make sure that you're protected on the litigation side so that you have enough time to work out a loan modification. If you go with a foreclosure rescue company or try to do it on your own, you may lose your case in court and run out of time before you even get an answer. It's not as easy as it might look to fight a foreclosure action, but at Cozmyk Law and other foreclosure actual attorneys, they have the knowledge to do that on your behalf.
Well, and I think it's so important because, like you said, you could approach the situation on your own, but having an attorney in your corner to even help with those communications is going to make an impact on the way the lenders, the people that are receiving these messages, really see them. They're not going to be as concerned with someone like little me coming and threatening anything because they didn't respond soon enough. But if an attorney's behind me, they're going to be much quicker with their responses and care a lot more.
And one of the nice things also is, because I have been doing this for over a decade, I've seen all the players in the field. It's the same magistrates, the same courts, the same attorneys on the other side. We have reputations that are very good in the community, in the courts, and with the other attorneys. We also have experience dealing with the specific attorneys. And, they know if I say I'm going to do this, that I'm going to do it. We don't have to worry about, them thinking I'm bluffing, because that's not what I do. And so it works to your advantage to have someone who's actually in the field. A general attorney, for example, could be hired to do this. But, if you hire someone who specifically practices in the field, you get an added advantage that you wouldn't have by simply hiring a random lawyer.
And I think that brings us to a really good point. So, when someone does decide I need a foreclosure defense attorney on my side, how would you advise them to search for the right attorney for them in Illinois or Ohio?
Well, you've got to add the word foreclosure lawyer, the word foreclosure to your search. You want a lawyer who actually has done foreclosure work before. So you go to Google, you type foreclosure lawyer, you read about their website, and let me give you an example. If I'm a bankruptcy lawyer and you hire me to do foreclosure, what am I going to do? I'm going to say you should file a bankruptcy, right? Well, uh, I'm a foreclosure defense attorney, so my first goal is to try to save your home. We can do bankruptcies if it comes to that, but we use a bankruptcy as a last resort. We call it the nuclear option because it's the last resort. We try to keep clients out of bankruptcy to protect their credit. And so I think a foreclosure attorney has a better perspective on what's the best path for you to take. So, don't just Google Ohio lawyer, Google Ohio foreclosure attorney or Illinois foreclosure attorney and start from there and just make sure when you talk to them that they seem to know what they're talking about with respect to a mortgage because you can say you know stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you do.
Which is a good point in itself. Make sure you get the opportunity to actually talk with the attorney, right? You're not just talking with um, through email, through chat, or things like that, but you're getting the opportunity to hear from the attorney and hear that they're involved in your case. So, lastly, before I let you go, Peter, for someone that is seeking a foreclosure defense attorney, is there anything else you'd like to share? Any final words of encouragement or guidance?
Well, I think you just have to understand that the banks don't need another house on their books. Each investor has, or each loan has an investor. Each investor has a set of guidelines that guide what they are willing to do to help you out. And these guidelines are written in a way to allow people to get modifications to save their home because they're going to make more money with a conforming loan than they will by selling your home in an auction. So you're going to get a bunch of notices that are scary sounding, but they want to work with you. But they're not set up very well to work with you because these lenders hire loan servicers, and the loan servicers work not for you; they work for the for the investor. A loan servicer actually makes more money when you're in default than they do when you're current on your loan, and so they don't have any incentive to build a program where they process your documents the right way or they get you out of default quickly because they're not working for you. They're going to say the things like, "Oh, we want to help you," but really, they're just doing their job, to work for the investor. So you don't want to deal with them on your own. You want to deal with someone who knows how to navigate that red tape because that's what it is. It's just a bunch of red tape you have to get through, but you're probably going to be surprised at all the options you have if you just don't run away from the situation. Just reach out to someone.
That is such perfect advice. And thank you so much for the entire conversation because your insights have been invaluable and experiences that you've shared have been so heartwarming. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the time.
Of course, Peter. And thank you so much to our audience. Do not forget to subscribe and stay tuned for another captivating discussion with legal experts who are passionate about making a difference. As always, remember this podcast is not legal advice, but it is designed to empower you with the knowledge and insights from the sharpest legal minds in America. Join us next time for another captivating exploration of the secrets that'll have you feeling confident in each life change. Until then, stay legally empowered.